I'm back with a Mr. Nightmare video for you guys today. Thanks for tuning in to Damian Acts. You might seem a little bit off today, but I'm off all the fucking time. Either I'm tired, or I'm fucked up, or something's going on, but I'm fucked up today. I'm eating as well, because I didn't get a chance to eat, and it's currently 3 in the morning right now. I'm trying to get these videos all scheduled and everything for you guys, and starting Mr. Nightmare 3 Scary True Bowling Horror Stories, which this one's going to be fun. I already know what it's going to be because me and my friend Mike will bowling at some point soon. And this, I already told her, like, this may make me not want to go. So I already kind of warned her. Still shaking a little bit, but I'm okay. Everything's okay, I think. But, oh God, okay. Probably shouldn't have gone out. Probably should have did laundry, did my videos, went to bed, and, you know, like a normal person, but nope. Anyways, yeah, without further ado, I think we started everything, we're good. I'm gonna drink something and eat, just so you guys know. Bowling Horror Stories, Lego. I haven't been bowling in probably like years now. I think before COVID I went bowling for sure.
I used to go bowling quite often with my friends when I was young. I'm talking like 12, 13. There was a bowling alley down the block from my friends and I, and so we'd go there on weekends. The bowling alley has been closed for years, but when it was open, it was super cheap and affordable, perfect for a bunch of young teenagers who didn't have money of their own. This one weekend, I went with my friends Jacob, Josh, and Mikey to the bowling alley. We always went at night. It was likely around 8 p.m. The bowling alley was always crowded on the weekends, and sometimes we'd see familiar faces. There was this older man who would sometimes be there alone, bowling on the adult side of the bowling alley where alcohol was served. We always played on the non-alcoholic side. How we took notice to that man was because he'd sometimes just weirdly walk down the entire bowling alley, passing every lane, watching people bowling. Then we'd notice him end up back at his lane all by himself. We nicknamed him Creeper Bob after maybe the 3rd time seeing him. Tonight there was a lane open next to us, and guess who out of nowhere sat next to us? Bob, or whatever his real name was, but I'll keep referring to him as Bob. He was setting up a game on the lane next to us by himself, and it wasn't long until he started trying to talk to us. He started making comments on our form, and every so often interrupting our conversation to tell us weird things like how long he's been coming here. Then eventually he said something really weird, that he watches us play every weekend from across the bowling alley, and he decided to come over and introduce himself tonight. He played it off like he was trying to be some kind of bowling teacher to us, but really, it was just annoying and most of all, uncomfortable. Bob at one point...
Yeah, because you're 12 or 13, like you're literally just like preteens, barely.
Entered our lane as I was up to bowl, and he grabbed my wrist with his hands to position me into an allegedly better form. I never gave him permission to touch me, nor did I ask for his guidance. We were only like 13 though. None of us stood up and said, "Yo, get lost," or something like that. I could just feel the unease amongst my friends. Every moment of that man touching me, I felt more...
Wait, were you guys alone? Like at 12 or 13, there's no way my mom would let me go alone somewhere. No adults, just 12-year-old friends and 13-year-old friends. Nope. Nope.
And more disgusted. We cut our night at the bowling alley short because of him. We used the money that we would have used on more games on getting pizza instead at a pizza place further up the block. When we came out, Jacob and Mikey went their own way since they lived on a different block. Josh and I walked back down the other way in the direction of our houses.
At least you're still in pairs, like they're in pairs and you're in pairs, but still, it's like you're 12 or 13 years old, you're walking at 8 p.m., and then you guys are probably walking home at like 9, 10, 11 p.m. I don't know how your parents are allowing this, but okay.
As we did, the sound of a car engine starting made us turn around. We noticed an old SUV like a Ford Explorer banging a 3-point turn. We both imagined the possibility of it being Creeper Bob. The SUV started slowly tailing us as we walked down the street, so we picked up our pace. Then the SUV pulled up right alongside us, and the window rolled down.
There we
It
go.
was in fact the man from the bowling alley. He said out the window that he could offer us a ride home. We said no thanks. He replied it's not safe for a couple kids to be walking around late at night.
Yeah, I wonder why. Because of you. Because of people like you, bro. Literally because of you. Like, literally because of you, bro.
We weren't even really that young. We were young teenagers, not little kids. And it was crazy that he thought we were young enough to trick into getting into a car. When we made it clear we weren't getting in, he pulled to the side of the road and parked his car. Josh and I decided to start jogging home. When we reached the intersection where we'd split off, we said bye and I continued jogging home. By the time I made it back, I was out of breath. Running after eating pizza is not a good idea. My dad was already asleep because he worked weekends. My mom was out with her girlfriends most likely, and the same was probably the case with my sister, who I wasn't supposed to ring the bell because my dad didn't want to be woken up. I went around back to get the key we had for the back door, which was hidden in the shed. When I got out from the shed, I thought I heard something, and I should have listened to my gut. I went to the back door to unlock it, and as I opened the door, I heard the sound of someone running up behind me.
Oh, fuck.
Before I could fully turn around, someone pushed me inside the house, covering my mouth and wrapping their arm around my neck.
What?
I wasn't able to see who it was because I couldn't turn my head.
Bro, what the fuck?
I scratched and clawed at the man's hand until I could move my mouth just enough out of the grip of his hand and scream, "Dad." I may have only been 13, but I was able to put up enough of a fight to get him to lose his grip a few times, allowing me to scream. This undoubtedly scared him off, as he finally let go for good and ran outside. I didn't look back. I ran up the half flight of stairs to the main floor and yelled for my dad. My dad came rushing out of his room, and after telling him what just happened, he checked the backyard and all around the property, and then came back inside. I told him about the man from the bowling alley, how we nicknamed him Creeper Bob, how he followed Josh and I in his SUV after admitting to stalking us at the bowling alley. My dad filed a police report and tried getting the bowling alley to release the video surveillance from that night, but they refused. I was never allowed to go back there after my mom found out about this. Not that I'd ever want to. The crazy thing is, technically I can't say with 100% certainty that the man who came in behind me and grabbed me was the man from the bowling alley.
It was.
But realistically, how slim are the chances that it wasn't him?
It was him. 100%. That is just like legit terrifying. I should have known that these stories were probably gonna be about kids because again, kids mainly bowl. Adults obviously bowl too. Like I'm an adult and I'm probably gonna go bowling with my friend. But at the same time, it's like me as a kid, I went bowling obviously because like who the fuck doesn't go bowling? I suck at it, but I still go bowling and everything, right? And I feel like it's mainly kids. Adults definitely go too, but I feel like the horror stories are definitely more so on kids, unfortunately. Thankfully, as a kid, I never had any horror stories. I don't know about you guys. Hopefully, you guys are okay too. But Sean.
When I was a teenager, my close group of friends were, I guess, what you'd call delinquents. We liked causing trouble, breaking rules, and messing around in places we didn't belong.
Yeah, that's normal.
I grew up in a suburb in northern New Jersey, so I guess you could say we were just spoiled kids with nothing better to do. Looking back, the way we passed the time was a little silly, but there's nothing I can do about that now. Anyway, one of the things we really like to do is to go
Again, honestly, kids will be kids. And then once you're an adult, you're like, what the fuck did I just do as a kid? Like, you know what I mean? Always like that. Like for me, I kind of go back and I was like, what the fuck was I doing, bro?
exploring in the late hours of the night. Usually we explored abandoned buildings, but not always.
Fuck that.
We actually got banned from our middle school after jumping through an open window, but that's a story for another time. This particular night, we were planning on executing a riskier task. There were 5 of us: me, Chip, Jason, Rowan, and Anish. Rowan had a tendency to bounce around from job to job, which was kind of a running joke in our squad. He'd lose jobs as quickly as he'd get them, usually for the dumbest reasons you can imagine. He had just picked up a gig as an attendant at a bowling alley a few towns over from us.
Okay.
I'm sure you could see where this is going. He had been entrusted the key to close up the place the night before. Anish was a master of persuasion, and he somehow convinced Rowan to let us explore the bowling alley at like 3 a.m. I'm telling you, Anish could convince someone to give them their kidney. That's how persistent he was. I haven't heard from him in a while. I think he might actually be in jail right now. Anyway, the 5 of us agreed to get a little drunk before going. We all
I'm sorry, teenagers like preteen. Because technically at 13, you're 13, you're a teenager, technically. I'm just going to assume they mean 16, 17.
had a substantial amount to drink, except
But you still
for
can't drink at
Jason,
that age, though.
who refused to go anywhere unless he was the one driving. His dad had a really nice BMW, and Jason liked being able to end our links when he got tired. After getting a little buzzed, James drove the 5 of us to the location. I was the heavy drinker of the squad. It's not something I'm proud of, but it's just who I was at that point in my life. Because of this, I usually took things a little less seriously than I should have, especially when it came to dangerous or risky situations. Rowan unlocked the...
Again, like sometimes you just gotta learn the hard way. As kids, as adults, as teens, as preteens, as young adults, like kids, like you just learn the hard way, right? It's not a big deal. As long as the hard way doesn't kill you or doesn't, end you up in jail, then you should be okay.
door, and the 5 of us made our way inside. Chip was usually the most cautious, and he kept chiding us to be careful in his hilariously high-pitched voice. Rowan told us we couldn't actually do any bowling right now, which we were all a little upset about. I had the genius idea of doing some makeshift sliding on the lanes as if they were slip-and-slides. Since we were drunk, this was actually pretty fun. The 5 of us soon tired ourselves out and decided we wanted to do some exploring. We asked Rowan if there were any back rooms we could check out, and he told us there were. We made our way into the employee-only area, and Rowan led us to some kind of storage room.
Bro, if they see the cameras, can't you not only get fired, but maybe go to jail? I guess you do have the keys, so maybe you wouldn't go to jail, but it's letting them in.
We started poking around and flipping things over, just being stupid and careless. We figured Rowan was going to get fired anyways, so we weren't too concerned with messing things up. As we started getting bored, we heard a deafening bump from below us. The 5 of us froze, staring at each other. Jason, the only sober one in the group, asked if the place had a basement. Rowan looked just as shocked as we were, and told that he had no prior knowledge of a potential basement. Anish grinned, eager to continue exploring. Chip seemed really nervous, telling us that we were probably going to end up getting Rowan fired. We were whispering now, arguing whether we wanted to go look for this hypothetical basement. Just then, Jason lifted the edge of a rug nestled in the corner, revealing a hatch. We were shocked. The atmosphere in the room instantly shifted with the realization that the situation was now serious. Even if we had found the way into the basement, the sound we heard was still unexplained. I don't think any of us really wanted to go down there, but Jason made the first move in his classic level-headed style. He flung the latch open and stared down at the old, rusted ladder leading into the darkness. "Screw this," whispered Chip, motioning for us to leave. Jason ignored him and went for the stairs.
I'd definitely be Chip, bro. I'd be Chip 100%.
He pulled out his phone and shined the flashlight into the blackness. Without another word, he descended into the abyss. I could tell Rowan, Anish, and Chip were a little scared, understandably. I still had a lot of liquid confidence, so I decided I'd go next. Anish followed behind me, and Rowan brought up the rear. Chip refused to come down with us. The 4 of us pulled out our phone flashlights and began exploring the basement that had been hidden for some reason. It was filled with dust and cardboard boxes, stacked up to the ceiling. There was nothing else down there, or at least that's what we originally thought. Anish noticed a door in the corner, and we walked over to it. Jason put his hand on the handle, but a split second before he was going to open it, we heard a distinctive bump come from the other side, which sounded identical to the one we heard earlier. We looked around at each other, with horrified looks on our faces. I could tell we were all thinking the same thing. An animal, maybe? No shot, it was too loud to be an animal. I was pretty freaked out at this point and turned away to leave. Like an idiot, Jason cracked the door open, revealing another storage room. That's not all that was in there, though.
Oh,
In the
fuck.
corner of the room, there was a human figure sitting on the ground with its legs crossed, facing away from us. We were frozen in place, utterly terrified. After a full minute of stagnance, the person in the corner of the room banged their head against the wall, explaining the sounds we had been hearing. I began tiptoeing to the ladder, careful not to make any noise. The rest of my friends turned around and began doing the same, clearly filled with terror. Just then, Rowan tripped on a piece of junk on the floor and then cursed. The person in the room yelled, and we ran. Jason and I were up the ladder in a split second, with Anish close behind. Chip was leaned over the hatch, concerned with what he was hearing. Anish made it up, and the three of us ran out of the room. We heard Rowan scream, "Get off me," but Anish and Jason were too terrified to turn back. I ran back into the room and saw Chip chucking a metal pipe down the hatch, which was followed by a demonic scream. Rowan scrambled on the ladder, and Chip grabbed his wrist, yanking him up. Rowan ran toward me while Chip slammed the hatch shut. The five of us sprinted out of the bowling alley, and Rowan hastily locked the door with trembling hands. Jason drove us back with a blank look on his face. We listened as Rowan described what happened after the rest of us made it up the ladder. Apparently, whoever had been in the basement jumped on Rowan's back, clawing at him.
Fuck.
Chip came to his rescue and nailed Rowan's attacker in the head with that pipe, causing the lunatic to fall backward. Rowan said he only saw the guy's face for a split second. It was the horrifying face of a dirty, old, homeless-looking guy with a bird's nest of hair on his head. Rowan ended up quitting the next day without giving his boss an explanation, as it was definitely illegal what we had done. To this day, we have no idea how that guy could have gotten down there. Maybe there was an alternate entrance we had overlooked. Either way, the basement had been intentionally hidden, which tells me that Rowan's boss might have known something about the whole thing. This experience ruined my taste for bowling, which I have not done since.
Yeah, now that just makes me think, like, imagine going to a bowling alley. Like, obviously, there's probably a downstairs. I would assume there's a downstairs. There's probably an upstairs. Maybe there isn't, but I would assume there's a downstairs because, like, everywhere usually has a basement, right? Like, normally everywhere. I feel like, obviously, houses, like mostly buildings, obviously have some kind of, probably have some kind of underground. But I don't even know, bro. Like, that's fucking wild. I don't even know what to say about that. Like, I would literally crap myself. First of all, I'd never be in a bowling alley at 3 a.m. Yeah, no. I would not even be in that scenario, but...
One night, my girlfriend Rebecca and I decided it would be fun to go bowling. We drove to the closest bowling alley and went through the whole process of renting shoes, finding balls, and picking a lane. We both were really bad. Neither of us had been bowling in many years. We paid for an hour of bowling. Rebecca wasn't really enjoying it too much because she kept getting gutter balls. I was doing better than her, but not by much, so I wasn't really able to help her out much. And then to make matters even worse, Rebecca's ex-boyfriend arrived with his group of friends and they started bowling a few lanes down from us.
That's so awkward.
Rebecca looked away, refusing to even look in that direction, whispering at me that we need to leave now. We packed it up early and left. She went to the car and waited while I returned the shoes.
I would not do that. I would not literally like, let's say you had 40 minutes left. Even 10 minutes left. No, bitch, I paid for an hour, I'm staying for an hour. If Max is here, he can suck my nut. Like, I'm not, no.
I think her ex spotted me while I was at the front counter, and I looked away. I didn't tell Rebecca this, though. We went home and agreed to play Wii bowling instead and have some wine.
Close enough, right? Same thing. But yeah, I'm not gonna let an ex do that. No. No. Like, obviously, he would know the girlfriend, the ex would know the girlfriend, but does the ex know the current boyfriend? I'm assuming he does and probably followed them home or something. This one's fairly short, only 4 minutes left in the story, so...
That sounded much more fun anyway. When we got home, the first thing I did was turn on the Wii and open a bottle of wine. The bowling alley trip was a failure, but I didn't want Rebecca to be unhappy. We played Wii bowling for like half an hour with music on in the background and drinking wine. It turned out to be much more fun than the bowling alley. Until the current song that was playing ended, and we heard something come from upstairs in that brief moment of silence. Rebecca and I looked at each other, telling me she heard it too. I turned off the music for good, but now there was just silence. The sound we heard could best be described as a heavy object being dropped on the floor. I went upstairs to investigate, and checked every bedroom with the lights on.
And I'm assuming no one's supposed to be home or something, or no one's home? No
Checked
pets?
under every bed. I was relieved to find nothing. I wasn't actually expecting to find someone in the house. But naturally, you do need to go investigate if you hear a suspicious sound in your house. Still, I wondered what actually made the sound, because I didn't find anything on the floor. After maybe another half an hour of playing Wii bowling, we brought our little wine party upstairs to the bedroom, and eventually we fell asleep. Rebecca's a lightweight, so she got much drunker than me, which explains why I was the one to wake up in the middle of the night and not her. I heard what woke me up, though. It was another clear and distinct sound of something heavy being dropped from above. But the only thing is, now we were upstairs, and yet the sound still came from above. So what else would be above us?
Attic.
The attic. The attic door is right outside my bedroom door. It's one of those doors with a string that you pull down and a metal ladder comes down. I tiptoed out of the bedroom to not wake up Rebecca. I stood under the attic door and listened. Every 5 seconds or so, I heard the slightest creaking sound, like from the weight of something moving around. I didn't want to scare Rebecca, but I'd heard of animals getting into people's attics sometimes. I went to get a broom from the closet to use as a possible weapon
Animals are
if I were
humans.
to have to fend off an animal. Then I quietly pulled the attic door open and climbed up. I stopped at the top of the ladder in the darkness and listened. I heard creaking.
I swear, if there's a rusty, dusty, old, creepy rocking chair in there, I swear to God, bro.
It was the creaking of the wooden rocking chair we had up there. I used my phone as a light to reveal the rocking chair. There was someone sitting in it, slowly rocking. I nearly fell off the ladder. I wanted to go run back to Rebecca and hide. I wanted to do anything but approach this person.
Anything at night and rocking chairs is just, bro, I fucking can't. I can't with rocking chairs. I literally cannot.
But I gathered the courage to yell, "Who are you?" The rocking stopped, and the man turned around to look at me. He started making this animalistic, gargling, growling sound. Then he got up, and that's when I hurried down the ladder and pushed the attic door up. I screamed for Rebecca to call the cops until I heard her acknowledge me. I stayed under the attic door, preventing it from being opened as the man in the attic tried kicking the door open. He eventually stopped, and I heard the deranged laughter of a sick, mentally ill person. He spoke in another language and sounded Russian. I felt like my arms were going to fall off, holding up the attic door, waiting for the police. When they finally arrived, Rebecca went downstairs to let them in. From here, it was the job of the police officers to go up there and remove the man. Rebecca and I waited in the living room, sitting on the couch next to each other, until we saw them bringing the man out through the living room to the front door in handcuffs. The way the man looked at me said everything. He was a dangerous, mentally ill person. His stare was full of hatred and craziness, with a hint of confusion. His lip contorted in this bizarre way that would almost make you think he were drunk. Whatever happened with him, we don't know. We didn't press civil charges, but I'm sure he was charged criminally if they didn't deem him to be insane. This happened in the summertime when we keep the windows open, so it was most likely that he squeezed through one of the windows in the backyard. I'm not sure why he picked our house. We may just have been the unlucky house he stumbled across.
Even in the summer, if you guys have your windows open, you guys should have like a screen. Like a screen that has like literally teeny tiny holes, so bugs can't get in, and obviously no humans. And obviously you would know if someone got in, because then obviously you would cut through it. All you need is like a knife and scissors, and then you can cut through it and then come inside. It's easy, but obviously at nighttime, like, you close them more, so you try to make it more secretive. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to look at the comments again. I'm not going to put the screen recorder again just because I'm too lazy to. So, I haven't heard from him in a while. I think he might be in jail. That had me dead. I hope Chip is living a good life. He's the true friend in that situation. Exactly. He's the one friend that actually cared about everything, and he's the one that actually... You know what I mean? Yeah. Sorry. I read another comment while I was talking about that one. Shout out to Chip and Story 2. Definitely. And then the one I was just mentioning right now. Am I the only one who thought it was Rebecca's ex-boyfriend that was in the attic? That's crazy. That would have been wild. Yeah, I also wondered how the ex would have gone out there so quickly without them noticing. Yeah, so it makes more sense that it was some random guy. Oh, okay, how can Boing be scary? Oh, snap. Boing was the only one. Now everything is complete. There's a horse toy for everything. Work, home, sleep, anything, bro. It's 3:48 a.m. right now. Just anything can happen. Never have a creepy wooden rock chair in your attic or basement. It never ends well. Exactly. I don't know why people have rocking chairs anymore like we used to, but we got rid of that shit. I wonder why. No rolling for the last time. I don't want to go bowling. Oh yeah, I told you guys that I'm supposed to go bowling. Oh fuck me. Well, I guess I'm messing my friends. Sorry, I watched the bowling video. I'm gonna have to cancel my cancel our plans and we can go laser tag instead or something. I don't know. But again, anything can be a horror story. Everything is a horror story, so it's like you can't really escape from it. It's always there, to be honest. It's always there. Anyways, going to the bowling alley and there's a wait list. Scariest bowling story. That's true. Never fails with the stories. I think he might actually be in jail right now. Anyways.
Well, I think he might actually be in jail right now. Anyway, the 5 of us...
Freaking Darman. Freaking Mr. Nehmer, the comedian over here. But honestly, just be safe no matter what you're doing because like I just said, you can literally get a horror story from literally anything. You could be going to the fucking store. Going downstairs, doing some laundry. There's a horror story in the basement for you. I shouldn't have said that. I'm doing laundry right now. Anyways. Yeah, honestly though, just be careful with whatever you're doing. Walking outside, walking down the stairs, flushing your toilet, be careful. But yeah, no, in all seriousness though, like genuinely do be careful and stuff because again, like you literally never know when your time is and never know when shit's gonna hit the fan and that's the terrifying and obviously unpredictable part of life. It's like you don't know what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen, like stuff happens just like this. Like you fall down the stairs and then you have a broken ankle. You could literally be working in the freaking Baltimore Bridge and then it freaking like collapses on you. You know, I still feel really bad for all those victims, bro. Imagine just like driving there and then I think there was like a truck driver that was like that just managed to escape. And everyone in the comments was like, yeah, God was definitely on his side, bro. He literally just made it just with like a second to spare, bro. That's fucking crazy. But yeah, no. Heart goes out to all the families and all the people impacted in the whole Baltimore Bridge accident, but that's what I mean. Like, you're just driving across the fucking bridge and then you're fucking dead just like that. Like, that's what I mean. Unpredictable and shit just happens whenever it wants to happen, so be careful and anything can be a horror story. Everything is a horror story, so be careful. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to myself and Mr. Nehmer, turn on post notifications, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces. Peace.